What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now if you guys are watching this video, it means that Double Game Week 22 has finally been announced. This video is going to serve as kind of initial reaction, give you guys the latest news on the Double Game Week, as we do still have another Game Week 21 before it. And the reason why I'm mentioning that we do still have a full game week before Game Week 22, if you guys watch my kind of transfer plan video, recommended to actually bank a transfer this week, and this Double Game Week still holds firm on that kind of decision. The reason I'm saying that is why bring in a United asset before they do face Arsenal in Game Week 21, and therefore don't worry, we're going to be going over the best kind of combination, the best triple up, the best double up of those United assets next week in the Ultimate Guide after taking all the Game Week 21 information into account. The reason I'm saying that is just for example, tonight's fixture, United are facing Crystal Palace, Weghorst in the starting 11, is Martial going to be back fit for Game Week 22, who kind of knows? And just imagine if Weghorst does well against Arsenal, maybe he's the first choice striker to actually look at. So though yes, Game Week 22 has been confirmed as a double game week, it hasn't changed my transfer plan of banking the transfer and just absorbing that information. But I know that a lot of us do own these United assets, we want to bring in these Leeds assets, so I'll be covering what fixtures they actually have in double Game Week 22, so let's get straight into it. So going over the fixture review of Double Game Week 22, unfortunately it's only going to be for two teams, so relatively small kind of double game week. The first team is going to be the bigger one to go for, it's going to be Manchester United. Now what I've done here is on screen the kind of colour rating of the fixture is in the last 6 game weeks based on XG conceded where these teams are on the kind of ratings. This stat came from Fantasy Football Fix, went over to their Opta Stats sandbox, and again mentioning the last 6 game weeks I don't really like to use as the teams might have had easier opposition. I'll show you an example of that in the next kind of team review, but starting off with Crystal Palace at home and Leeds at home, Crystal Palace actually been defending pretty well over these last 6 game weeks, whereas Leeds are simply terrible. So definitely 2 easy fixtures though, I would say on paper. Man United actually just facing Crystal Palace in Game Week 20, so let's see what tonight's fixture is going to hold for us, because if they're going to do well tonight, I think it's going to be quite hard to resist them at Old Trafford. Speaking of Old Trafford, both of these games will be home fixtures, so yet another kind of reason to triple up on these United assets. Now the next team with a double game week is going to be Leeds, obviously, Nottingham Forest in the first game and United in the second game. Now United are actually the top team in terms of XG conceded in the Prem at the moment, so they definitely deserve that red rating. But here's where we come in with that kind of last 6 game weeks bias, is if you look at Nottingham Forest, they're actually rated as a pink fixture. It's actually quite a difficult fixture based on the last 6 game weeks XG conceded. Now is that true? I don't personally think so. I think that's a great fixture for Leeds in terms of that fixture, and that's how I'd still go for some of their assets. But it does beg the question, I guess, we had this in Game Week, a double Game Week 20, with some teams that pretty tough fixtures. This might actually be a single game week for Leeds because of that hard United game in the second one. But each to their own. If you want to go for these Leeds assets, 100% fine, but I would definitely prioritize the United assets. The one thing I will say, if you guys still do have your triple captaincy, a Rashford triple captain does look quite spicy in double Game Week 22. If you guys haven't used the chip, depending on the result tonight, you might want to use it in Game Week 22. Now the next talking point is going to revolve around the best players, and I'm actually not going to be covering any of these assets because I personally don't think this is the week to bring them in. Game Week 21, United are facing Arsenal. Leeds are okay to bring in if you want to go for them, but I would probably absorb the information of Game Week 21 and take that into Game Week 22. But don't worry, I'll be going over my best kind of combinations, the best assets to bring in the Ultimate Guide next week, but I think we can be a little bit patient on this one. But while you're at it, in the comments down below, drop what players you're potentially looking at. I think a Bruno Fernandes is probably top of my radar, as I already own Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. But who kind of knows, maybe Weghorst bangs it over the next 2 game weeks and he's going to be that main striker, so the big Dutchman might be the best United asset to actually look at. In terms of the Leeds assets, there has been some rotation, some new signings for that Leeds squad, so keep your eyes on those over the next few games. Now the final talking point to go over, I just want to remind you guys that we do have a couple blank game weeks coming up, and United and Leeds actually potentially might blank in Game Week 25. So United are facing Nottingham Forest to have the easiest game in terms of kind of the League Cup semi-finals, and their chance of progression is pretty strong. So in terms of the blank Game Week 25 projections for United, it's going to be probably a blank game week for them, and that's what you guys have to watch out for. Then in terms of Leeds, they have Southampton at home in Game Week 25. If Southampton do beat Newcastle in the other semi-final, they will also have a blank game week. Now would this put me off those United assets? Probably not, just simply because it's a great double game week. You might even want to captain the player you bring in, but chances are you own and are going to captain Marcus Rashford. So definitely something to keep in mind, but with the nice United fixtures coming up, probably won't put me off bringing them in from Game Week 22 onwards. But I just want to remind you guys about this blank game week because it is on the horizon. But that's basically wrap up the video, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. A little bit of a shorter one here, but I just wanted to give you guys the information as of yet. And then pre-Game Week 22, I'll cover all the Ultimate Guide topics. But I'll see you guys for the team selection coming up tomorrow, so make sure that you have those bell notifications on. But I'm signing off with Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.